Hey Bearcat fans, welcome to another edition of This Week in Bearcat Athletics. So the Northwest Missouri State men's basketball team remains unbeaten after two big wins on the road last week. The Northwest track and field teams had success all over the country, and there's a championship celebration this weekend. More on all that coming up on This Week in Bearcat Athletics. The Bearcat men's basketball team is the only team in Division II that remains unbeaten after West Liberty beat then second-ranked Fairmont State Saturday. With that, the Cats are the unanimous #1 team in the nation this week. Last week, Northwest had its closest margin of victory in MIAA play with an 80-75 win over Lincoln University in Jefferson City, followed up by a blowout win over Lindenwood in St. Charles, 89-64. In the Lindenwood game, the Bearcats set the single-game record for shooting percentage at 67.9%. The wins last week avenged road losses the Cats had at those places last season. Head coach Ben McCullum says this week's games against Emporia State Wednesday and Washburn Saturday have some significance considering past results as well.
Well, I think obviously it's a conference opponent. Emporia was the last team to beat us 25 games ago in the regular season. And, you know, we can still remember the feeling of getting beat and having to take that bus ride home. And obviously it's always nice to add just a little extra motivation going in. I think during the game it's going to wear off, but going in it kind of gets their focus up a little bit more. And then Washburn's the last team to beat us at home. That was a couple years ago, and so they'll be ready. I'm sure they remember both those losses, and hopefully it'll help motivate them to prepare a little bit better. During the game, obviously, that kind of goes away, and they'll just be naturally motivated.
The Cats will play 4 out of their last 6 regular season games at home, with trips to Pittsburg State and Joplin next week, the only remaining road games. The Bearcat women's basketball team split their road games last week, beating Lincoln 70-60 before dropping the Saturday game to Lindenwood 81-70. In the game against Lincoln, Tanya Meyer scored the first 12 points of the game, got into foul trouble, then scored 22 second-half points to finish with a career-high 34. If the season were to end today, the Bearcats would have a spot in the MIAA postseason tournament. But head coach Buck Shields says to keep that spot, the team will have to work to keep from hurting themselves in games.
I feel in these past couple games, our lack of rebounding and turnovers has really had a big effect on us, even in our win over Lincoln on Thursday. And so, you know, those are some areas that we can control. And I think at the end of the day, if we can, you know, limit those boards, limit our turnovers, you know, it'll put us in a position to be in the game. And then, you know, on top of that, we just have to be a lot tougher physically and mentally. Emporia is a team that is very, very aggressive on both ends of the ball, and they're a team, if you allow them to come in and kind of push you around, you know, it's like a shark. They're going to see that blood in the water, and they're just going to keep coming at you. And so I think if we can establish ourselves early in the game, you know, and anything can happen. But if we dig ourselves a hole from the start, it's going to be pretty tough.
The Bearcat women will celebrate Pink Zone Night Wednesday night and honor Northwest employee Joyce Luke, who is battling breast cancer. Luke will be recognized during the evening, and a silent auction will be held and donations accepted, with 100% of the proceeds going to Luke to help in her battle. The women's game tips off at 5:30. It was a successful weekend last weekend for the Northwest indoor track and field teams with a split squad. It got started with athletes at the Central Missouri Mule Relays and at the Nebraska Frank Savine Husker Invitational Friday. Shelly Lores won the women's pentathlon at Central with a personal best 3,231 points, followed closely by teammate Audrey Wishman, who took second. Also in Nebraska, Brandon Phipps took third overall in the 5K and set an NCAA provisional time as well. At Minnesota State Mankato Saturday, Nicole Harnish highlighted several top 4 finishes for the Bearcats by winning the weight throw with a toss of 50 feet, 1.58 inches. The Bearcat track and field teams will take part in the South Dakota State Classic this weekend in Brookings, South Dakota. The Bearcat baseball team is off to a strong start with a 4-0 record and the MIAA Pitcher of the Week this week. The Cats beat Fort Hays State in a non-conference game and Northwestern Oklahoma State in Alva, Oklahoma to start the year before beating the University of Arkansas Fort Smith Tuesday. Joseph Hitpus was named the MIAA Pitcher of the Week this week after throwing 7 scoreless innings in a 15-0 win for his team over Northwestern Oklahoma Saturday. He struck out 15 batters with just 3 walks and 2 hits allowed. That performance built on a 12-strikeout performance by his teammate Anthony Canapeel the day before. The Cats will face Ouachita Baptist, Henderson State, and Truman State this weekend in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. The Northwest softball team will open play this weekend with 4 games. The Cats will play 10 games in February, and every one of them will be played in Bentonville, Arkansas, against a variety of opponents. Your chance to celebrate the 2016 National Championship for the Northwest Missouri State football team will come Sunday at Bearcat Arena. The doors will open at 1:30 and autographs will be signed for about 90 minutes. Fans are asked to only bring 2 items to be signed, including a free championship poster that will be handed out, so as many fans as possible can get autographs from players and coaches. The National Championship trophies will also be on display at the event. The football team will hand out awards after the autograph session, and fans are encouraged to hang around for that portion of the event as well. All activities Sunday are free to the public. That's This Week in Bearcat Athletics. For producer Andrew Sherry, I'm Matt Gorder.